This is Robert Vogel with Issues in Education, and we are at the International Society for Technology and Education Conference in Chicago. And today we have with us Marcia Kish, who is with DSD Professional Development, and Marcia is a blended learning coach. And she's going to talk to us a little bit today about the three phases of blended learning. So first of all, why don't we start off by telling us exactly what is blended learning?
Oh, great question. Everybody always wants to know, what is blended learning? The way I look at it is taking a traditional classroom and breaking it up into 4 parts where students can work on independent digital content, future-ready skills where they're creating and collaborating, and then having the mini lesson with a teacher. So blended learning is taking the best of online and offline resources and putting it into a classroom environment.
Oh, great. So how did the organization start? How did your business start?
Oh, well, it's been a journey. I started out as a classroom teacher in Worthington City Schools. I taught 2nd grade technology and a 5th grade teacher. I decided to switch up my classroom one year, and I looked at the student data instead of looking at the whole group, and I noticed I was getting really great scores and I was seeing growth, and I'm like, wait, what am I doing here? So I transitioned out of the classroom and became a professional development provider for TRECA, and TRECA had me teaching teachers, and I actually started a blended learning high school for them.
Is that right?
And so then after I got the whole high school up and going, I'm like, wait a minute, I want to go and take this road show on the road.
Okay.
So now I travel around helping teachers across the country and world to implement blended learning.
Okay, so exactly how do teachers engage with your product? How do teachers use DSD?
There's all different kinds of ways. So one way that teachers use us is they'll have us come out and do a workshop. So we come out and do a kickoff workshop for a school or school district saying, hey, here's what blended learning is, let's get going with it, and then we follow up with on-site or virtual coaching.
Okay.
And then we also developed a software program that will help monitor the growth of the teachers, just like we monitor student growth, to help them to advance to those next phases of blended learning.
Okay, and does blended learning work better for a particular subject, or is it across the board?
You know, everybody says it doesn't work with their subject, but we work with everything from yoga teachers to physical education to business to elementary, kindergarten, all the way to colleges.
Wow.
So we definitely, it works with everything. You just have to have a growth mindset in order to be wanting to change your classroom environment.
Okay, so how do you go about measuring your success and the success of the program with the teachers? How do you know when things are going well? How do you know if you need to tweak something along the way?
Well, number one thing that I look for is I always look for the sustainability. So if I do my job correctly, I should be out of a school district within 2 years, 2.5 years.
Okay.
So that's one of my goals. I can see that a teacher's doing well by when I go into their classroom and they're actually transforming the way that they're teaching. So they're transforming it from, instead of being a whole group, now they're doing the breakout sessions and the little rotating, to now letting students work at their own pace. So we monitor those teachers along the way to see if they're making progress. We have conversations, just like you and I, with the teachers to talk about their progress growth, and then we always give them what we call level up strategies. So here's what you could do to get to that next level.
Okay.
So we believe in giving teachers 3 goals, because teachers count like this: 1, 2, 3, too many. When we hit over 3 goals, then the teachers should just give up. So we just give them 3 things to work on, keep pushing forward, and continuing pushing on. Okay,
good. So then we know that you're working with teachers, but what type of outcomes or results do you see from the students?
Oh, well, at first, some students don't like blended learning because they want the information spoon-fed, and it's usually the honor students. They just want you to tell them what they know. So at first, students don't really have that great of an outcome or perspective of blended learning, but the more we're working with them and the more they're seeing the change in the classroom, the better it becomes.
Okay.
But in the end, we are seeing our test scores coming back way higher. So a classroom, we have a comparison where one classroom in a school is not doing blended learning and one is. They would score usually about 70s on their test, and then the classrooms that are doing blended learning are usually high 80s to 90s.
Wow.
So we're seeing a big difference because the kids are more engaged, they want to learn, and we're meeting them at their level. So we're building a strong foundation so that wherever they are, they have those skills to continue to progress, and it's showing in test scores.
Oh, that's great. So do you begin by benchmarking the students somewhere at first?
We do.
Doing milestones along the way?
Yeah, so we use all different kinds of programs depending on what the school district has in set. So if they have like NWA MAP assessment, we get the beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of the year. If they just use a state assessment test, we compare it from last year to this year. So there's always those progress monitoring, but we use so many amazing online resources that are constantly giving us data as far as this is how the student's doing and this is what they're ready to learn next. So the online component of blended learning really helps those teachers to push those kids to that next level.
Okay, and what is the future of blended learning, do you think? Where does that go in the next year, the next 3 years, 5 years?
Ultimately, blended learning is a stepping stone for personalized learning. We get teachers into blended learning, and our next thing is to personalize. In phase 3, it is one step away from becoming the beginning parts of personalized learning. So what happens next is personalized. That's the trend, and that's where we want to go. We want every kid to have their own educational plan.
Okay. Are there any specific takeaways that you can share with us from your session today on blended learning? What was it, the 3 phases of blended learning?
The 3 phases of blended learning, yes.
Is there anything in particular you can share with us as you come out of that session?
One of the things that most of the teachers came up to me at the end, they said, this is the first time that anybody gave us stepping stones versus the mountain. The mountain being blended learning. How do we get there? How do we get teachers there? And what we have done is we created this rubric that guides teachers along the pathways and steps to get them there. And everybody really liked that. So in phase 1, we say just take a traditional lesson and break it apart. Get the kids up, get them rotating. Every 10 minutes they're doing a new learning activity. And then the teachers walked away going, well, that makes sense. But then let's take it one step further. Phase 2, give them a checklist. Take away the timer, say, here's everything you need to do this week. Get it done, and I'm going to be teaching you mini lessons. Even if I have online videos, I'm still going to be teaching you. So when they walked away from our session, they really thought the best part was just how simplified we make it. And we break it down into those 10 components for each phase, and it just seems manageable.
Are there any particular challenges that you face as you begin working with a school on blended learning?
There's always different challenges, but our number one challenge is if the admin aren't on board, it doesn't go very far. I really need the administrators to back me, to support me, and say, this is where we are and what we're moving. I had one school district in Ohio that I worked with, Minor High School, and their principal at that time basically said to their teachers, you will do blended learning, phase 1 day a week. And he had everybody in that building doing it and trying it, and that's what I need. I need them to say, it's a value, we want to see the change, and this is what's happening. So that's always one of my biggest struggles, is make sure that this admin are on board. If I get the admin on board, the rest is gold.